Good evening. Coming up tonight, breaking news as the University of South Carolina has announced a fully in-person teaching plan for the fall. What changes you can expect to see.
The South Carolina High School League made a decision about spectators at their events. Find out what statewide tournament will be affected.
And finally, bars in 5 Points may be at risk of closing down in the future. How the university and the state have been involved.
All of that and more tonight on SGTV Nightly News.
Live from the Kennedy Greenhouse studio, this is SGTV Nightly News.
Good evening, Carolina. I'm Justin Walsh.
And I'm Kendall Smith. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Breaking news from this morning as the University of South Carolina announced its plan for a full return to face-to-face classes and the resumption of normal campus operations in the fall. Although some restrictions are being lifted, the university will continue to mitigate the spread of COVID-19 through on-campus testing and following state-sanctioned guidelines. In a statement put out by U of SC President Bob Caslin, he states that although today's announcement is great news, we still have to remain vigilant. As I've said throughout the pandemic, our ability to return to normal depends on members of our community doing the right things to protect themselves and others. The return to a sense of normality may be on the horizon, but don't forget to keep staying safe and mask up, Gamecocks.
Former Vice President Mike Pence announced that he will make his first public remarks since leaving office here in Columbia, South Carolina this April. Pence will speak at a dinner held by the Palmetto Family Council on April 29th. Many are speculating that Pence is eyeing a run for president in 2024, as aides close to Pence have emphasized his commitment to remain, quote, very active, end quote, in the process of campaigning for Republicans ahead of the 2022 election cycle. Pence will speak to a group between 450 and 600 ticketed dinner guests at the Columbia Metropolitan Convention Center.
Today marks International Women's Day, a day dedicated to celebrating the social, economic, and political achievements of women all around the world. The theme of this year's campaign is Choose to Challenge, calling all to take a stand against gender bias and inequality. Members of the Columbia community are expressing their pride and support by gathering at the steps of the South Carolina State House for the annual She Walks event. Participants started and ended the walk at the steps of the State House. According to organizers of the event, they are walking through the streets of downtown with their sisters, mothers, daughters, and aunts, and will conclude the event with the appearances of several female speakers to share their stories about how they became she. The SC Department of Revenue has denied renewing liquor licenses of 11 out of 15 bars in the 5 Points district. These small businesses, known to be hotspots for U of SC students, could potentially be at risk of shutting down if their licenses to sell liquor cannot be renewed in the near future. SGTV News 4 reporter Finn Carlin has a story.
There's a real possibility that, if not all, a lot of those places are no more.
That's Brian Glenn, owner of Village Idiot in the 5 Points district, a staple of nightlife both in the city and for USC students. But now, the businesses that have served Columbia for years may be in danger of closing their doors for good.
You're talking about places that have been open for, some of them not very long, but some of them decades. And all of a sudden now they're a bane to, Columbia's existence. I don't get it.
Brian, along with other bar owners in 5 Points, is expressing his frustration with protests that have come from the local residents and the university to demand that their licenses to sell liquor not be renewed.
So at the time, the administration looked at it and decided that we would agree to join some of these protests at the urging of some of the community groups. And we filed 10 protests against licenses that have come up for renewal.
Now, due to the COVID-19 pandemic, more protests have been filed because of bar density.
We were hearing from a lot of community groups that they were concerned about largely bar density.
This past week, as Governor McMaster has lifted state orders regarding the approval of mass gatherings and limits on hours that bars can sell alcohol, the SC Department of Revenue has denied many liquor licenses in the 5 Points area, but they were not able to comment at this time. Though Governor McMaster has eased some COVID-19 restrictions in the state, a return to normal for bars in 5 Points may look quite different, as 11 of these student hotspots may not be able to sell liquor until their license can be renewed once once again. The situation has many business owners in Five Points asking how Five Points would remain an active entertainment district if they are forced to shut down as a result of losing their liquor license.
You know, you're looking at these neighbors up there protesting, trying to get these places closed down, but I haven't heard anyone suggest of what they want to put in their place, other than just shut everybody down. What are some things that can be done?
While no solution has been offered should Five Points lose some of what creates its nightlife, the university, along with some community members, hopes that the area will keep its energy in the future.
You know, we want Five Points to be a vibrant place for people to go. We want there to be lots of options down there. And so, you know, hopefully, you know, we'll see a good positive change as a result of some of these protests.
For SGTV News 4, I'm Finn Carlin.
Thank you, Finn. Beginning on Wednesday, University of South Carolina nursing students will be helping to administer COVID-19 vaccines at the Student Health Center. Nursing students have been working with Prisma Health throughout the semester, volunteering at the Gamecock Park Vaccination Clinic during its first week. This news comes off of the university's announcement that they will begin vaccinating eligible students and staff. Currently, the university will receive 200 doses per week of the vaccine to administer, but university officials have requested to receive 1,000 doses per week. It will be the Moderna vaccine that the university will receive, as the FDA has not approved Moderna's vaccine for people under the age of 18. Those eligible to receive the vaccine currently at USC are those who fall under the Phase 1B category, which includes individuals 55 and older, teachers, and those with pre-existing conditions. And hopefully we can actually amp it up to 1,000 vaccines per week. That would be awesome.
Absolutely. And I do know that a few of my friends who are nursing majors, they actually got the vaccine one of the first groups, which is amazing. So maybe they can amp up production. Having them at the health center is going to be a big convenience for students on campus.
I go on walks every single day, and I live very close to Williams-Brice Stadium. So a few weeks ago, I didn't realize that vaccines were being given out at Gamecock Park. And I was walking, and I was like, oh my gosh, what is going on? That looks like the state fair over there. There were so many cars.
Not to mention the traffic. I live over there.
The traffic.
It's a long line, but it's all worth it.
So worth it. Completely worth it.
Absolutely.
Well, coming up, SGTV News 4 sports reporter Braden Malloy gives the details on how the coronavirus has affected student athletes playing below the college level. Stick with us. Welcome back, everyone. While the pandemic has completely changed life on the U of SC campus for student athletes, the impact goes far beyond just the college level. Let's take it over to our sports anchor, Braden Malloy, to break it down for us. Braden?
Thanks, Kendall. Tonight we take it to the mat. This past Saturday, South Carolina Wrestling State Championships were held at Dreher High School, yet the atmosphere this year was a little different. With no fans allowed in the stands, senior Josh Green was tasked with finding motivation elsewhere. SGTV News 4 sports reporter Cade Crenshaw has the story.
An ultimate goal for many wrestlers like Chapin High School senior Josh Green is competing for and winning a state championship. Green will be competing in his 4th state title tournament this Saturday at Dreher High School, but due to a recent decision by the South Carolina High School League, he'll have to take to the mat with no spectators in attendance.
It's definitely a little disappointing. I know my parents definitely want to be there, but I definitely have some friends that would like to be there too.
On Tuesday, the high school league's executive committee voted 7-6 to defeat a motion that would have allowed limited fans to attend Saturday's state wrestling tournament instead of none at all. High School League Commissioner Jerome Singleton was skeptical of making changes to the original plan, saying, quote, "I don't see how our staff can get it done this week. Our entire plan was to get it done this week at this venue. It would be very challenging for us. We're focusing on basketball because we already had a plan in place for wrestling," end quote. Wrestlers' families like Josh's are not only upset at the fact that they won't be allowed to be in the stands on Saturday, but that this week's High School League State Basketball Championships could have nearly 300 people in attendance.
And they're having this big hoopla with it. They're allowing fans and everything, and we're stuck for a state tournament in a high school with no fans.
And while they might not be there in person, Josh's dad is making sure that his son knows that his family is still right there with him.
I reminded Josh last weekend when we were at Lower State, I said, you know, Mom and Grandma are watching. They're here. Even though they can't be here, they're here. And it's just sad that they couldn't be there.
Despite the emotional toll, Josh says he's going to be using the High School League's decision as a motivator.
It's definitely disappointing, but it's definitely a motivation to push harder and to show that it's not the fans that make you who you are.
In Columbia, Cade Crenshaw, SGTV News 4 Sports.
Thanks, Cade. Joshua ended up finishing third in the 170-pound weight class for 5A wrestlers. Moving to the hardwood, South Carolina women's basketball has once again reclaimed their throne atop the league, winning the SEC tournament on Sunday 67-62 against the 12th-ranked Georgia Bulldogs. Even with another star performance from sophomore Aaliyah Boston, who had 27 points, 10 rebounds, and 4 blocks, the Gamecocks did not have the easiest of time defending their crown. The Bulldogs came out on fire, making 9 of their first 15 shots and leading 23-17 after the first quarter. But the Gamecocks would find their footing, and Isaiah Cook buzzer-beating 3 would erase the deficit and end the game 35 at halftime. Coming out of the half, both teams continued to prove how evenly matched they were, but the momentum began to shift towards the end of the third. The Gamecocks closed the quarter on an 8-0 run and could already see the blue and yellow confetti falling from the rafters. The Bulldogs would cut the deficit to 4, but never get back into position to retake the lead. Clutch rebounds and free throws saw the Gamecocks cut down the nets for the second consecutive season and 6th time in the last 7 years. This game also made history as the first women's conference championship to feature 2 opposing black head coaches in Dawn Staley and SEC Coach of the Year Joni Taylor. Both the Gamecocks and Bulldogs now wait to see where they will be seated and what region they'll play in for the NCAA tournament, which begins on March 21st. That's all we have from sports in South Carolina tonight. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Braden. Coming up, we'll talk our top song drop of the week and how the United States is spilling the tea with the UK for a second time, so don't go anywhere. Welcome back, Carolina. We will bring you all the details about the tea that Meghan Markle spilled about the royal family. But first, let's throw it over to entertainment anchors Callista Yost and Brianna Holman for our top song drop of the week. Callista?
Thanks, Justin. Happy New Music Monday, y'all. I'm Brianna.
And I'm Callista, here with tonight's news and entertainment. Let's jump right into my top song drop from this weekend. Drake dropped his latest EP this weekend. Scary Hours 2 has 3 tracks. 3. Wants and Needs with Lil Baby is definitely my favorite song, but I do think my favorite thing about the whole EP is the sparkly font on the album cover. What about you, Bri?
I just know that you love this album cover so much, but honestly, I just feel like, I don't feel like it was his best thing, but I feel like, I don't know.
No, I definitely agree with you. Like, Take Care is still like elite, but you know, the marketing director in me, I had to love the sparkly album cover.
Of course, why not? Well, Meghan Markle shut down the mystery behind the real reason they left the royal family last night in an interview with Oprah. Now, outside of the British monarchy, she says, "I have advocated for so long for women to use their voice, and then I was silent." She describes in the interview what life was like for her 2 years ago when they were still under the royal family. She said palace officials spoke to her about her unborn child at the same time, saying he will not be protected, he won't have a title, and concerns about how dark his skin might be when he was born. She even reveals that after all the tabloids, blatant racism, and drama, that she did not want to be alive anymore. And I think that's just terrible to ever get to that point where you just want to kill yourself.
Especially from your own family. Even if she married into the family, they should still be treating her with grace and respect.
Right.
And the one thing I want to ask is, where is cancel culture now? Where are you, cancel culture? Because this is really problematic and this is not okay.
Yes, they pick and choose for real, because it's like, that's just not okay. But I am glad that she chose to speak out about it. I'm sorry.
Yes, I definitely agree with you. That's such an important issue, and she needed to speak out, and I'm so glad that Oprah gave her that platform.
She really did. Well, in Arizona, things sure looks like it got a little out of hand at Bath & Body Works. At Fashion Square Mall, a white woman cut the line and got into a fight. A woman allegedly threw some racial slurs to another black woman. Employees tried their best to de-escalate the situation, but instead, one of the employees ended up joining the brawl. Scottsdale Police Department said that 2 women involved were charged criminally, but they did not reveal who specifically.
The only thing I have to say about this is I'm having a hard time believing they didn't make this in 2012, because the girl was wearing chevron. She was wearing chevron, y'all. It was horrible.
How?
I can't even believe it, and I wish we could throw in a little graphic of me from middle school, because I know it exists, of me in the chevron, but babe,
Oh my God. The fight was actually so funny to me though. Like I can't even help it.
It was hilarious. And I mean, let's be real. Me, Aries, I would have jumped in. And one more story for y'all tonight. Dogs on Davis is coming back this week. Yeah. It will be Tuesday from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. on Davis Fields 1. We are so excited. Big shout out to Carolina Productions. I needed this extra serotonin this week.
I'm so sad that I'm allergic to dogs.
Oh my gosh, that's tragic.
Why?
That's
like,
tragic.
Why?
No, I love to go and Palmetto Lifeline brings some dogs out there for us. It's always so much fun.
That's so cute. Well, that's all we have for you tonight. Back to you, Kendall.
Thank you, Callista and Bree. Coming up after the break, meteorologist Frank Martinez, who is also the birthday boy today, will let you know what to expect for this week's forecast, so don't go anywhere.
Welcome back, Gamecocks. My name is Frank Martinez, and I'm your local weatherman. So today, we did have a sunny, warm day. It did start a little bit cooler in the morning, but as the sun rose, so did the temperature. Ladies and gents, I am very, very excited to announce this week's forecast, as it will be sunny. Although starting Thursday, the clouds will start rolling in. So Thursday, Friday, Saturday, we will have that cloud covering the sun a little bit. But the weekend is looking hot, y'all. It's gonna be great. Trust your weatherman, okay? All right, so we're gonna go to our highs for Carolina. As we see, it was in the low to mid 60s, except for our coastline. Our coastline had 57 in Myrtle Beach, 57 in Hilton Head, and Charleston with a 61. Now, look at that, y'all. Beautiful sun everywhere. So Monday, we had the high of 65, the low of that 35, and that is no typo, y'all. Right there, you see that? That's a 72. Yes, we're gonna start our week with a high of 72 on Tuesday, and it will progressively get higher until we are at 79 on Saturday. So make sure to bring out your sunscreen and your sunglasses, as the sun will be out. And for those that like tanning, the UV index will be around 6 to 7, which is moderate for exposure, perfect for getting a nice golden brown tan, like myself. All right, so I wanna point something out. Today's a very important day for 2 reasons, guys, okay? So, number 1, it is because it is National Women's Day. So to all the women out there, have a beautiful, beautiful day today. And secondly, it is my 20th birthday. So I appreciate Kendall for shouting me out. It feels weird, I feel old. But that is it for me, guys. My grays are gonna start to show. This has been your weather with your local weatherman, Frank Martinez. And please stay tuned, because when we come back, we're gonna have another edition of Carolina Canines.
And finally, tonight's edition of Carolina Canines features a very happy birthday to our friend Nova, sent in to us by USC student Cassette Molakug. Nova is a Labrador mix from Columbia, South Carolina, who loves to wear bandanas and take naps on her bed. If you want to check out Nova on Instagram, go to her page at going.super.nova. Super cute. And another birthday. It seems like everybody's birthday is today, March 8th, which is super exciting.
I love that. And we also, it seems like we have a few Instagram famous dogs in this show, like your dog. Now we got Nova.
I wouldn't say he's exactly famous, but I live for those dog Instagrams. Like whenever I see dogs on Instagram, it's cats.
One of my favorite accounts to follow is Doggos Doing Things. So this is just my daily dose of serotonin on a Monday night.
I actually heard that there's a group chat here at South Carolina where people just take pictures of dogs they see on campus and send the pictures of the dog in the group chat. So next week, I'll try to figure out what the name of that group chat is if we have any viewers that are interested in joining it.
If you ever just need like a pick-me-up, you got a day of a lot of studying, just go check that group chat out, because I kind of want to be in that too.
Exactly, exactly. Well, that's all we have for tonight's edition of SGTV Nightly News.
Be sure to follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at SGTV at USC. To keep up with all of our content, be sure to also visit us online at sgtvonline.com. For SGTV Nightly News, I'm Justin Walsh.
And I'm Kendall Smith. From all of us here at SGTV, have a great night, Carolina, forever to thee.